What is up, Rage Nation? We are back with another behind-the-scenes video of what it takes to get an interview, or at least how we do it these days over here at Indie Rage Radio. We got Nate. He is from the Crypt. Nate, what's up?
What's happening, man?
Not much, bro. Glad to have you on the show. Is it chilly tonight in Wisconsin? That's what I need.
It's a little bit. It's like in the probably up to about 40 right now. It's been kind of drizzling and gray all day, so not the best December weather. I prefer when it's probably mid-20s and full of snow.
You know, I've always wondered, because you're pretty high up there. Yeah. We're based here in Lake Charles, Louisiana. We're right by the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, wow, cool.
So it bongles my mind that a cold front can come all the way down from Canada. Obviously, they're coming through Wisconsin and get all the way down here to the Gulf Coast and still be like 20s, 30s, 40s. I can't imagine you guys getting like the fresh part of like a Canadian cold front.
Oh yeah, you bet. That gets pretty crazy in the winter up here.
So you say you love the snow. Yeah, I would imagine to live in Wisconsin, you gotta love the snow.
Absolutely. And in the winter, that's what I look forward to is, going out and cross country skiing all the time. So, when things calm down around here, that's usually where you can find me. Somewhere out in the woods skiing.
Nice. Yeah. There was a time when I was just done with hurricanes. Because we got hit by 2 hurricanes in 1 year, and it was just terrible. And then, we're getting tornadoes down here now. It's
no kidding.
It's the worst. So I was like, you know what? Like my day job, I was like, let's see what other radio stations across the country where you could go. And I was like, Colorado sounds nice. And then somebody was like, no, it snows like crazy over in those towns. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could.
No, but I mean, when you compare it with hurricanes and tornadoes, gosh, like you might be able to put up with the snow a little bit. And at least in Colorado, I think it'll disappear in a few hours or something, but they get dumped on though.
Yeah. Like, I think it was Fort Collins and, can't remember the other town. Somebody said both of those, it like snows buckets.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we're going to get into radio interview portion here in a second, but if you're watching this video and you dig what we do, we give a global platform for independent and unsigned bands to promote their music, and you want to help support the show. One of the easiest ways to do it is down in the crawl and the description. You'll see right there. It's our Amazon affiliate link. tinyurl.com/AmazonMO. Look, I'm butchering this, Nate. I'm trying to read it on the crawl, and I can't even do it. tinyurl.com/AmazonLinkMO. It's in the description. Just click it there if you want to help support us. Essentially, what happens is when you purchase something from Amazon, we get a small commission, and there's no added cost to you. So you can save it to your browser, whether that's on your phone or your computer, and every time you shop on Amazon, click that link, and you'd be helping Indie Rage Radio directly. All right, let's get to the interview, Nate. All right, segment 1 in 3, 2, 1. Indie Rage Radio, IndieRageRadio.com. If you came tonight to rock out, boy, do we have something for you. We got Nate. He is the vocalist and bassist for the Crypt, their death metal band out of Wisconsin. Nate, how's it going, my friend?
What's happening, man?
I'm ready. Look, I brought my Bengay. I did some stretches before the show. I'm ready to get rowdy.
All right, let's do it. Sounds good to me.
You can find the Crypt on Bandcamp, thecryptdc.bandcamp.com. You can also check out their music on all your favorite streaming and purchasing platforms. Everywhere you consume music, they are there. All right, Nate. So the first segment, we always got to play a game because the Rage Nation, they like to pry into your personals a little bit. You know what I mean? They're nosy.
Okay.
Almost to the point of being stalkers, if I may say so myself.
Oh, geez.
So it's probably good you know how many social medias.
Oh, yeah. And I've got all this distance between Louisiana and Wisconsin.
Hey, but we're everywhere, bro.
That's right.
We're playing tonight in Portland. We're playing tonight in Australia. We're playing tonight in France. We're playing tonight in the UK, in France, in Germany, in Italy, all over the world.
Awesome.
All right, here we go. We're going to play 10 rounds with Mikey O.
Okay.
And essentially it's a this or that. And I need to get a sound. I need to get like a boxing bell sound effect.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
They don't have one here. The closest one I got is this. Nah, it's not.
Okay.
That's not even close.
No.
All right, here we go. 10 rounds with Mikey O. This or that. Round number 1. Coffee or soda?
Coffee.
Yeah? What's your favorite brand of coffee?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I just buy either Folgers or Hills Brothers from the store. Kind of whatever's on sale that week. But it's got to be the darkest roast possible.
Ooh.
It's got to be black.
That's where black like the metal.
That's right.
Now, that was going to be my second question. Have you ever had Louisiana's own community coffee?
No. What's up with that?
Bro, the dark roast will put some hair on your chest.
Oh, good.
Yeah, there was a time when I was training to be a manager for Walmart. And I went up to Walmart University, they called it. In where was it? In Grenada, Mississippi. Shout out to Grenada, a little small town in Mississippi, top of Mississippi. And I brought some community coffee from home, and they couldn't take it.
Yikes. The
teacher was like, hey, we appreciate you bringing this coffee, but everybody, it's too strong. And it was only the medium roast.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it was funny. So, hey, look, they sell it online. If you like your coffee, just put in community coffee. They'll mail it to you.
Okay, I might have to check that out then.
It's legit.
Yeah.
And I'm not sponsored, but if somebody's listening and they want to sponsor the show, we're down.
Yeah. Oh gosh, imagine if you could get some free coffee out of that. Like,
oh my goodness. Yeah, that would be heavenly.
Oh yeah,
love it. Gosh. All right, here we go. Round number 2: pop punk or metalcore?
Gosh, I'm gonna go with pop punk, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Metalcore to me, it's just a little too like, especially now with modern bands, like the sound is a bit too clean for me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
pop punk is one of those genres that's kind of like, you can be a country fan and like pop punk. You can be obviously a pop or a rock fan and like pop punk. It's like, it is so infectious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
So,
all right. Round number 3, pizza or hamburgers?
Pizza.
Oh,
now I work at a hamburger restaurant, but gosh, I just love pizza. Like,
I'm a very entrepreneurial guy. I wanted to start a food truck for a while and just post it up like at some of the bars. You know what I mean?
Right on.
And I was like, okay, should I do hot dogs? Should I do hamburgers? Should I do prepackaged stuff that people just throw into a microwave and do it up? And I think if I ever do it, I might do hot dogs. That seems like the easiest one to do.
Okay. Well, we have a guy who drummed for me for a while, and he's got his own hot dog wagon type thing. Food truck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see all these cats on YouTube just making bank selling hot dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, regular people love hot dogs, but I would imagine drunk people really love hot dogs.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah, it's something
win-win.
about that. Yeah.
What's your favorite pizza topping?
Probably like anything with pepperoni, I just love. But, gosh, green olives, too, I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
For a while when I was in college, people would if you got a pizza, I lived on the 4th floor, people would be bumming you pieces all the time, and by the time you got in your room you wouldn't have any. So for a while it was anchovies because no one would bum that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Did you have to force yourself to like anchovies, or did you already dig it?
No, I had to force myself.
Oh yeah.
But at least I had pizza then, and no one bummed. Or they'd bum once and never again.
But you know what? They say anchovies are really healthy for you.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, you just don't want to eat so many,
My son, he went on a trip with my dad one time, and when they were coming home, they got half a regular pie, and the other half, my son wanted to try anchovies. And my dad tried to talk him out of it.
Oh,
And
boy.
even though they threw away the half of the pie with the anchovies, when it got home, I was like, "Oh, free pizza! I'm down." You open up that box, and it fumigated the whole thing. It tasted like it still had anchovies on it. It was terrible.
Oh, geez. That's a bummer.
Let's see here. Round number 4, CD or digital download?
Oh, gosh. Boy, it really depends, but I'm going to have to go with probably the digital download for the moment, simply because I have like 3,000 CDs as it is.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. But now I did get into vinyl a number of years ago. So with that, like, if I really, really like something, though, I want to have a physical copy of it.
Definitely.
So, yeah, if I couldn't find it on vinyl and I loved it, I'd probably still go out and get the CD.
Yeah, you see, I'm with you. And the people out there that are saying physical media is dead, I just want to throat chop them every time.
Oh, yeah. Well, totally, because, I mean, I guess like younger people might not have that experience, but when you have some album you're totally into, like you want to be looking at the album art and, you know, reading lyrics, things like that.
Right.
So, I mean, I get CDs printed up for every one of my albums and kind of sell them to a few people. We don't ever really make any money off it, but you know, you get a few hardcore fans who want it, and we always try to make it really interesting and, you know, have a cool booklet or whatever. So, yeah.
We're talking with Nate. He's the vocalist and bassist for the death metal band, The Crypt. Check him out on Bandcamp, The Crypt DC. We're playing 10 rounds with Mikey O. Round number 5, cats or dogs?
Oh, gosh. I was just thinking about this today, and I love them both, but I'm more of a cat person just because I'm not home a lot. And I've always had cats growing up, so I just grew up around them.
We got a cat. Shout out to Fancy. We have a cat, and she's 16 years old, and she's starting to have trouble like eating her hard food. So we switched her over to soft food, wet food, and which is good because she can eat it now. But now we have to feed her when she's hungry. You know what I mean?
Oh, geez.
And like, so before, whenever she was hungry, she could just walk up to the bowl and eat, and she likes to nibble. She doesn't like to eat everything in one sitting. She likes to nibble. So now, like at 6 o'clock in the morning, every morning, she's like a rooster crowing at the sun. And I'm talking like she's meowing like nobody's business. And I'm just like, I can't live with this.
No, and like that's the biggest problem with cats versus, you know, dogs will do it too. They'll get you up early in the morning, but cats, for whatever reason with the food, it's just something else.
Mm-hmm. And they're nocturnal, so they're up almost all night.
Oh yeah,
you know, doing their thing.
Well, what they should be doing is finding the food, and by that I mean killing the mice in my house. But no, they want that free food in the morning.
Yeah. You know what? That's with our cat too. We have domesticated every sense of predator out of this cat.
Oh, geez.
Like when the door's wide open, she'll just look at it and go, not interested.
Yeah. I don't have to do that.
Oh, man. Round number 6, Apple or Android?
Android.
Oh.
Gosh, for life. I'm with you. Well, for one of the biggest things is I lived abroad, and the place I was living, everybody was nuts about iPhones. Like I'd have people coming up to me, "Hey man, can you help me get some iPhones?" And I'm like, "No." And oh God, everyone who had a phone would just be bragging about it and showing it off. And so, you know, it was just kind of like everybody was so into it. I had to be the rebel and be like, "No, Android only."
Well, I mean, look, people love American culture.
Oh yeah.
And iPhone is a big symbol of that.
Oh, big time.
But if they only knew, Android was so much better.
Oh yeah. And cheaper.
Yeah, and cheaper. Yeah. Like I was telling somebody that the other day. I was like, you just paid $2,000 for that phone almost when I can get an Android for $200 and it's just as good.
Totally.
And it can do more.
Yeah. Easier to fix too.
The possibilities are endless.
Oh yeah.
Round number 7, playlist or podcast?
Playlist. I find it really hard listening to podcasts. Like I have to like watch it or something.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I'll have music on in the background, whatever I'm doing, working or whatever. But yeah, with a podcast, I find like I'll tune out and lose something and try and go back to it, and I've already lost the plot of it.
Shameless plug here. Everybody go follow our playlist on Spotify, the future stars of rock and metal from Indie Rage Radio. All right, round number 8, Coke or Pepsi?
Gosh, I'm going to have to go with Pepsi just because once again, when I was living abroad, one day I had to teach a class at a Coca-Cola factory. And God, it was in this like horrible like part of the city, like just the absolute worst place. Like people like it was bad. So I had to get all the way out there and have to have all these documents to get in. And then I had to I was teaching some like executive there. And this guy must have just been like drinking coffee or something all over morning. He's bouncing off the walls and so anyways, I've had quite the vendetta against Coca-Cola since then.
Yeah. You don't have to say what country. Were you in Europe or Asia?
It was kind of both, but it was, I was far out there.
I keep wanting to retire in Thailand.
Okay.
I hear the medical facilities there are great. I hear the people are nice, and obviously the US dollar goes pretty far in Thailand.
Yeah. Well, we got a guy from my town, actually. He's my former guitarist brother. He ended up marrying a girl, moving over there, and he has a Wisconsin themed like bar and grill.
Really?
In Bangkok.
That's dope.
Yeah, totally.
He's got cheese curds and everything?
Yeah, he actually had to because they don't really do dairy there.
Oh.
In Asia very much. He had to go and find some guy who would make him the cheese curds.
Snap.
Yeah. So it was, but he does have the cheese curds.
He does poutines too?
I think they do, yeah.
Oh man. So, okay, I'm gonna have to look that place up because I was thinking about Bangkok. I was like, I just want to be in the bigger city.
Yeah. Well, that's a really big one. And a
lot more to offer.
Yeah.
All right. Round number 9, Christmas or Thanksgiving?
Oh gosh. I got to say Christmas just because usually we have snow by then and you can kind of go and, have a lot of fun with your family. Usually my father's family's huge. They all come to town. So it's just this huge party that kind of goes from Christmas Eve until New Year's. So and
look, I've always wanted a white Christmas, but it never happens down here.
Oh, no.
It was kind of cool for Thanksgiving. It got down to in the 40s, maybe upper 30s, but it's going to be 50s, 60s, 70s as a high for Christmas. And it's just,
yeah.
You can still break a sweat when you're outside shooting some hoop with some family members. You know what I mean?
Oh, geez, no kidding.
Yeah, it's not good. We're wearing shorts.
Yeah.
All right. And the finale of 10 Rounds with Mikey O. Mohawks or mullets?
Gosh. I'm going to say there's nothing mullets are so 1980s, so redneck. I got to go with that just because it's so classic.
Yes.
I won, eh?
Oh, hey, look, you always get a point in my book whenever you pick a mullet over a mohawk.
Oh, killer.
Awesome. All right, that was 10 Rounds with Mikey O. We're talking with Nate. He's from the death metal Wisconsin band, The Crypt. You can check him out on Bandcamp and everywhere where you download and stream music. The Crypt DC. All right, so the first song we're going to play is Scuttle. What's this song about?
So this song, originally, I was thinking it was going to be about a mutiny on a spaceship, but I ended up just making the lyrics a little more general about a mutiny on some sort of vessel of sorts, and the crew ends up like crashing it somewhere, and they go about living their happy lives.
Here it is. It's Scuttle from the Crypt on Indie Rage Radio. All right, very cool. We're going to talk in segment 2 a little bit more about the band.
All right.
Segment 2 in 3, 2, 1. Indie Rage Radio, IndieRageRadio.com. We are back with Nate. He's the vocalist and bassist for the Wisconsin death metal band The Crypt. You can find them on Bandcamp, thecryptdc.bandcamp.com. Of course, they're on all major streaming and purchasing platforms. So everywhere where you consume music, they are there. So, Nate, tell us how everybody in the band met up.
Well, it kind of goes back to 1998. And
that's a good year.
Oh, yeah. But I had a band in high school. It was called Cryptic. And it basically consisted of my best friend at the time and a local guitarist. We later got a drummer, but that didn't work out very well. I'm from a small town, so there's really not many metalheads around. And the other guys, they were into Metallica, Motley Crue, and things like that. And I wanted to be a lot heavier. So in 1998, Cryptic kind of broke up, and I decided to start the Crypt right away. And for the longest time, it was just a solo project. I got so far as recording this album, Victory Through Chaos, in 2007 as a demo, and never finished it. And then life kind of happened until finally in 2016, I decided to revive and finally do something with the Crypt. So I recorded the first album. It's this album. It's like 5 Vs, and that album I basically recorded as a solo project. But I had my old guitarist Aaron Fisher as both the lead guitarist and the studio technician. So he was with me in Cryptic previously, way back in the day. So for the first 2 Crypt albums, he was the main producer guy and helping me with a lot of the behind the scenes work. But then on my third album, Odal, I met Adam Haste, and he's been pretty much the most consistent member of the band since. And apart from that, I have a revolving door of people that I use. Another one that's with me very often is Skylar Champeau. He did the vocals on Odal for 2 of the songs. And then also on Embers of Limerence, our acoustic album, he did lead vocals on 1 song. And finally, Thrown to the Setting Sun, the EP, he did all the vocals and half the songwriting with me. But Skylar's from the same town as same region. So our families know each other from way back when, whereas Adam, he came to our county originally just as kind of a wandering musician. I think he has some family that lives here, but he came here in less than 10 years ago. And yeah, so our paths kind of crossed, and he ended up working with me the longest so far.
Yeah. And I was telling you off air that I kind of went sleuth on you, and I started looking up your hometown, and the photos are absolutely beautiful of where you live in Wisconsin. And shall I say, pretty much the most unmetal place on the planet. And you kind of hit on that, where you said not too many people around there like metal. So how did you get into the metal music?
Oh gosh, well it was
especially deathcore.
Oh yes, of course, deathcore. Oh gosh, so it was 6th grade, I can remember, and up until then we had these dances. They called them activity nights, but basically you'd go into the cafeteria, they'd have blasting music, and you'd get to, dance with girls or whatever. And I remember the first one I went to. So this was September 1992. I show up at this thing, and I just remember like seeing some girl from my class and being like, "Oh wow, girls, cool!" And all of a sudden, like that clicked for me. Then I went inside, and in that cafeteria that was all dark and just super loud, they were playing Metallica. It was the Black Album, but up until then, like I'd never really noticed music, and so from like Metallica, oh gosh, that was a gateway. And then it was Megadeth, Iron Maiden, Slayer. Really like that. Really like kind of inspired me to play bass and scream my ass off. And yeah, then it just went from there to death metal and then black metal. And gosh, it's been that way ever since now.
I'm surprised the school administrator at one point didn't say, "What is that racket? Why aren't they playing Dwight Yoakam?"
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing is though, like we don't, and I discovered country music later on, but yeah, you'd get just some of that like pop country or whatever it was. And they'd play a little bit of metal, but not too much. And yeah, gosh, yeah. Even the Black Album.
Speaking of Metallica, have you ever seen it was back in the day, but it was like MTV and they were given like a lifetime achievement award to Metallica and a bunch of people were covering their songs like at this like award show. Did you ever see that?
Okay. Yeah.
It's on YouTube. Dog. I almost said Linkin Park, but it was Limp Bizkit. They did Sanitarium.
Oh geez.
And it was next level. It was so much better than Metallica's, and like Lars and some other guy in the band was like just like totally jamming to it. And I know they had to have been thinking, this is so much better than the one we put out.
Yeah. Well, gosh, Lars, he's by no means a great musician. I think he has good business sense or artistic sense, but by contrast, then you mentioned Limp Bizkit, and I never really liked them very much, but I saw them at this huge rock concert. This would have been summer of 2012 in overseas where I was living. And gosh, I remember and once again, Fred Durst, I think he's a bit of a tool, but gosh, the rest of the band, like they were really, really good.
Oh yeah.
Like tight musicians. So I got respect for those guys.
So next up, we're going to play the song Wind of Time. What is this about?
Well, this is a song off the latest Split album. And I wrote this one with a Serbian band called Pustoš. I wanted to have a song in Serbian, and through some contacts of mine, ended up, meeting these guys, well, more or less communicating with them. And my idea for it lyrically was kind of talking to a civilization that thinks it's so great, so grand, that it just kind of builds and destroys its past to hurtle towards some great future, which is not really the greatest of futures. And so I kind of gave the idea for the song to these guys, and then they wrote lyrics to it. And actually, the singer of Pustoš, she does the lead vocals on it. I'm doing the backing vocals. And I think it turned out just wonderful. So it really caught the idea that I was aiming for.
There it is. It's the Crypt and Pustoš with Winds of Time on Indie Rage Radio.
All right.
So how do you pronounce that the Bunback song again?
Björnbach.
Björnbach? Okay.
There you go. I don't speak Hungarian. I did that with another band yet. We'll probably get to that next, but
yeah,
it's got these crazy slanted umlauts over it.
Nice.
So yeah. Even more metal.
Like the Serbian band and this Hungarian band, they know how to speak English, or how did you communicate with them?
Yeah, they speak English, so I was able to communicate with them. Although I do speak a bit of Serbian. My Serbian's gotten kind of not as good, though. Luckily, I didn't have to resort to that.
Do you know how to say Merry Christmas, Rage Nation?
No, I don't. Not in Serbian. So,
We'll have to
yeah.
look
But I should ask those guys.
All right, here we go. Segment 3. We're going to do that thing that we were talking about earlier before we started recording about the restaurant, venue, and bar.
Okay.
All right. Segment 3 in 3, 2, 1. Indie Rage Radio, IndieRageRadio.com. Hour number 2. Nate has been cool enough to stick around with us. He's the lead vocalist, bassist for the Crypt. They're a death metal band in Wisconsin. You can check them out, thecryptdc.bandcamp.com. And, of course, they're on all major streaming and downloading platforms. So if you consume music there, they are there. The Crypt DC. All right, Nate. So let's say somebody is hopping on the Spirit airline and they want to come to your neck of the woods in Wisconsin because they've seen the photos that Mikey O has been talking about all night long, and it's beautiful.
Right.
They got themselves an Airbnb there. They're staying for the weekend, okay?
All right.
What is one restaurant in your town that they need to stop at?
Well, in Fish Creek, I would say that it's Hill Street, and it's a place downtown. They have a lot of concerts, various mainly guitar-driven music. We don't really have a great metal scene up here, and because we're a very small town. But I've a lot of the musicians with whom I work actually play in bands that play down there a lot of times, and I work in a restaurant of my own in a different village. But I really admire this Hill Street place because they don't have ketchup and they do not allow food mods of any type. So
Really?
Oh yeah, it's a fantastic place. Like they've got some really imaginative sandwiches and things like that. But as a cook, like, oh gosh, that's great. They just tell everybody like, no, you can't have ketchup. Nope, we're not taking the onion off your sandwich. So, yeah, that would be the one that I would recommend, just kind of off the top of my head.
That's kind of like the Soup Nazi, I can't even say it. The Soup Nazi episode from Seinfeld almost.
Oh yeah.
It's like you mess around and start throwing all these mods, they may kick you out.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm sure they wouldn't.
Oh gosh, well, it's funny if you ever look them up on Google though, and you look at the bad reviews because the owner responds, and he's not always very accommodating, and it's just hilarious. But like, yeah, coming from somebody who works in the food service industry, like it's one of those things you just wish you could be like, no, we're not going to do that. But you got to be nice.
Yeah, that takes a certain set of cojones and skills in the kitchen to pull off.
Oh yeah. Like, oh gosh.
So what's my headphones fell out for a second, so I don't know if you said this or not, but what's a go-to dish there?
Oh God, I'm trying to think what all they have because they have a kind of a changing menu, but pretty much any of their burgers are really good.
Yeah.
Any of them. So
I saw a lot of water in the pictures that I was looking at. So a lot of fresh fish on the menu as well?
At that place, I don't think so. But at the restaurant where I work, we have a whitefish sandwich, and it comes from the lake.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we have a local fisherman. He goes out and catches it. So and whitefish is it's the most common fish you can find in our area. We have salmon and things like that too. But it's just crazy because it's still like a real hit. People love it.
Yeah, I got to be careful with the beef and the fish because I got the gout. But I tell you what,
oh no,
sometimes I just can't resist, especially if I know there's a good piece of baked fish. I'm throwing down.
Oh, totally.
It's on.
Well, we have that because the place where I live, I'm on a peninsula, so yeah, we got water all around.
Yeah, that'd be a good place to get at, like an Airbnb and just fish back there and kind of like a cook and catch. Or catch and cook. You can't cook before you catch it, Mikey O. What's going on?
No, hard to do that.
All right, so they got a great burger.
Yeah.
They're looking for a rockin' venue, and you said that possibly your town's not the perfect place to go see a rock
No.
show, but where would they go for that?
Well, there's a number of places you can sometimes catch a good rock show around here. We have an auditorium, and we've had like some big name people play there. This is in Fish Creek. So, for example, we had Johnny Cash back in the '90s. So sometimes you can catch something big there, but otherwise I would go to Sturgeon Bay, which is like the closest city, and they've got a really like happening music scene down there for being a city of 10,000. Like they have a like really nice music scene, especially the hip hop scene's incredible down there, really inexplicable. So I'm trying to think down there what venues exactly they have, but they have this festival every year that's like rock bands at every bar in the city. So yeah, definitely Sturgeon Bay would be the place I'd go.
I tell you what, I'm glad you name dropped Johnny Cash. What a great storyteller.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, Folsom Prison Blues, A Boy Named Sue. I mean, that's one of the greatest stories in a song of all time.
Yeah. And gosh, like, all those country guys, like as I was saying earlier, I just grew up hearing all this pop country. It was mainly like Garth Brooks and stuff. And later in my life, I discovered outlaw country, and I'm like, whoa, these guys are awesome. They're like, like my black metal heroes, or great gangster rappers. Like they were legit.
If black metal was country.
Exactly.
I wanted to get into promotions for a while, and I wanted my first show to be Ryan Upchurch and possibly have with him. Oh man. There's a tear in my beer. And then his son, all my rowdy friends are coming over tonight. Bocephus is his nickname.
Okay. Oh, that's oh gosh.
Hank Williams. Hank Williams.
Yeah, Hank Williams.
Yeah. I was like, man, Ryan Upchurch and Hank Williams III would be such a rowdy first show to put on.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Hank III's into heavy music too, so.
Yeah, that dude's all over the place. I love it.
Yeah, it's cool, like seeing that, like nowadays, like artists that have their hands in so many different genres,
and can pull it off.
Oh yeah, like not everyone can do that.
No. I mean, you see the artists out there, and they're grifting on certain styles, but then you see somebody like you said, Hank III, like that dude. You can tell he just listens to all kind of music and loves it all.
Oh yeah, and he's legit. Like he lives like a hard lifestyle.
All right, so let's go ahead and play this song. And I probably already forgot how to pronounce it. So the next song we're playing is Björnbeck.
There you go.
Is that it?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that umlaut thing. It's like E or something.
Tell us about this song.
Okay, so this one I wanted to, for the split. Originally, it was going to be a song in Serbian, and I wanted to do one in Albanian as well. I contacted some Albanian groups, and I was trying to get somebody to, contribute to it, but I couldn't find anybody. And I was like, well, another language. Well, Hungarian's really weird. So I looked, and I actually found a guy, and he was like, I'll help you write a death or black metal song in English, Hungarian, or German. And I'm like, cool. It turned out to be this fellow. His name's Baal, and he has a band called Baal as well. He's mainly a black metal guy, but incredibly versatile musician. He has a huge discography. He's on Bandcamp too. But I gave him lyrics, and the song literally means scapegoat. I wrote some lyrics basically like what does it mean to be a scapegoat in like the broadest terms. I didn't want it to be exactly like religious or whatever, but kind of thinking about like nowadays, and even just being a metalhead in the past where you're an outcast, and just kind of being like, Yeah, go ahead. Call me horrible and whatever. I'll just, I'll leave your society and thrive in the woods or whatever. So anyways, I wrote kind of those basic lyrics out and gave it to Ball, and he did the rest of it. He does most of the vocals, and I do a lot of the backing vocals on this one as well.
Here it is. It's Bjornbeck from the Crypt on Indie Rage Radio. And you know what's funny? you said go ahead and say what you're going to say, and I'll just live in the woods.
Yeah.
So we were talking off the air, everybody, and you were telling me that your place is so rural where you live, like you don't even have internet. You had to go to somebody else's house.
Yeah. I mean, I can use mobile internet on my phone, but it's not fast enough for like a video call or anything. So yeah, it's just wild. Like the road that I live on in the town, I don't think they have anything down there yet.
Yeah. And you know what? That's like, I'm kind of all over the place. Like, I would love to either retire in a cheaper Asian country or just go like completely off grid.
Oh, yeah.
Like cabin with solar, buy like a running brook so I can have fresh water and just live off grid.
Oh, yeah. Well,
that would be. And now with Starlink, we could have Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
if I'm 500 miles, in, I don't know, by a mountain.
Oh, yeah. Anywhere, as long as it gets, that it can see the sky.
Yeah.
And
absolutely nuts.
I mean, that's the one thing, like in general, I'm not too crazy about internet. Like I could kind of live without it, but especially for working on music, like a lot of the musicians I use and stuff are in different countries. Like it's really nice because I don't have everything myself now. I can collaborate with people overseas, right. But also like Bandcamp where, I don't have to send money to some, crazy country and worry about them stealing it. I can just download like a band's new album and then it shows up. The post doesn't steal it.
And I'm glad you're using these people from across the pond because, man, I tell you, there is so much great music out there. And a lot of times us as Americans, we're so sheltered, we're so force fed by the record labels that we really only see artists that are thriving here in the States.
Yeah.
And so that's really cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. So the fourth segment is at the end of the show. So it's kind of like we're up against the clock. We're trying to put a bow on everything.
Sounds good.
All right. Here we go. Segment 4 in 3, 2, 1. Indie Rage Radio, IndieRageRadio.com. We are back for one last segment with our guest, Nate, with our guest, Nate from the Crypt. They're a death metal band from Wisconsin. You can check them out on Bandcamp, thecryptdc.bandcamp.com. They're also available on all major streaming platforms. So whether you download it, whether you stream it, they're on your favorite platform. Check them out, The Crypt DC. So, Nate, thank you for hanging out with us tonight, brother.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, they tell me the water is great in the virtual green room. So hopefully you're well hydrated.
Oh, yeah, I got some water right here. So
yes. All right, so let's talk about the future of the Crypt. Now, we were just talking off the air, and I was like, man, that's really cool that you're reaching out to all these bands in Europe because a lot of times, we're fed by the machine over here in the States. So we kind of only really see the people that are blowing up here in the States. And, we're not really too concerned about what's going on in Europe or Australia. And look, the metal and the hardcore scene in Europe and Australia is alive and well, and it is so fire. So I appreciate you reaching out to these bands. You got any more collabs coming up? What's in the future for the Crypt?
Oh, gosh. So I've just finished recording, and now it's being mixed as this new album called Lux Libera Me. And it's going to be really weird. We just, after doing a few heavy albums in there, I was like, well, it's time to do something really, really weird. and really aggravate the people who've, you know, been picking up on the Crypt. So yeah, this new album it's absolutely bizarre. And it's got 10 songs on it in different languages, and most of the languages are pretty bizarre. So, and also I was like, oh, what's another thing I could do? Well, I just had them all sung, but only by women. So it's a really weird album.
Look, and since you're saying really weird, you got to do a Klingon. Find somebody who knows how to speak Klingon and do a Klingon death metal album. That would sell like hotcakes.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Like, you know, like the Star Wars, not Star Wars, the Star Trek people would eat that up.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, that Klingon language was based on Mongolian.
Oh, really?
Which is, to me, it's the like most brutal sounding language ever. Oh gosh. I was actually like thinking about that. Like I should, because there are some death and black metal bands from Mongolia. I was like, oh, I should reach out to one of them and check that out. Mm-hmm. Have them sing on a song.
Yes.
But yeah, there's no Mongolian on this new album. So yeah, it's a lot more melodic, mainly because all the vocals are going to be kind of clean. But
yeah,
I did try to have like this weird ethnic kind of flair to it, just because I had traveled a lot, heard a lot of crazy different types of world music. I'm really into Middle Eastern music as well. So that had a huge influence on it. And from your neck of the woods, that I don't know if you're familiar with him, but Dr. John.
Oh, yeah, definitely. New Orleans legend.
Yeah. And he has this album called Gree. It's his first one. And the other ones are a little more like bluesy rock kind of oriented. But this, like Gree has this crazy, like, it's like almost voodoo sound to it. It sounds like New Orleans would sound to me, I had to imagine. Yeah. So I listened to that and I was like, oh, wow, this is cool. Like you could combine this, you know, with metal and come up with something.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's like Gree is like a voodoo curse.
Yeah.
Like essentially, like we got a saying down here. If you mess with her too much, you're gonna put a Gree on you.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I mean, that's like, you know, listening to that Gree album, like, yeah, it sounds like sorcery or something. And, you know, that's 1969, I think, like before Sabbath. And it's just got that kind of like mystic darkness or something to it. Such a cool album.
I'm pretty sure acid had a lot to do with that as well.
Oh, gosh, yeah. You look at the pictures of them on the back, they're like, oh, yeah, someone was dropping acid.
Somebody had some sugar cubes around.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so that piqued my interest. Make sure you keep in touch with the Crypt DC on Bandcamp. Make sure you hit those notifications so you get notified whenever they drop that brand new album. So the last song we're going to play to end out the show is The Throne of the Setting Sun. What's this song about?
So this one is written by my friend Skylar, who's another frequent Crypt collaborator. And like he writes, his lyrics are kind of these mythical stories. He's a great storyteller kind of guy. And he reminds me of like a wizard. So this is it was originally a story about a structure or something he built on a beach. He put a bunch of bricks up and that was the throne to the setting sun. But it tells some story of probably some mystical warriors from what I gather from the lyrics. I can't really totally speak for him, but I think that's what it is. So this one, it's definitely not like a death metal song. It's more of a power metal song with some 80s retro synth vibes going on. So another facet of our sound.
He is Nate from the Crypt. I am Mikey O. This is The Throne of the Setting Sun by the Crypt on Indie Rage Radio. We'll see you when we see you. All right, very cool. One more question I forgot to ask you at the very beginning.
All right.
Do any of the songs have any language that we need to edit?
Trying to think. Not really. No,
Okay.
they shouldn't have any like F-bombs or anything in them. So, no. And actually, a lot of times when I do write lyrics, I try to make them a bit clean. So,
Well, we definitely
yeah,
appreciate
Scuttle.
that.
I did put a like explicit lyrics thing on it on I think Spotify or something, just because it's kind of violent sounding. But yeah, it doesn't have any like it's no worse than like Metallica or something.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
All right. Well, Nate, well, I appreciate you coming on, dog.
Yeah, well, I'm really glad to be on here and, get my music out there.
Yeah, bro. Now, before you leave, if I could get a drop from you,
All right.
anytime, because we're recording, you
Okay,
can just say, hey, this is Nate from the Crypt, and you're listening to Indie Rage Radio.
Hey, this is Nate from the Crypt, and you're listening to Indie Rage Radio.
Perfect, man.
Pretty good?
Yeah, man. All right,
All
keep
right.
those collabs coming. Keep up that hard work, bro.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I'll send you that screenshot I was talking about too.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
All right, man.
That'd be great.
It's nice talking to you, bro.
Nice talking to you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.